United States prior to 1860. So we're gonna start with this little video here.
In today's lesson, you will learn how over a 50-year period, the United States tripled in size by buying, winning, or negotiating for territory extending from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean. This era of time is known as Westward Expansion. At the conclusion of today's lesson, you will be able to respond to the following questions. 1. What were the territories added to the United States? And 2. How did the United States acquire or get the new land? By 1800, Americans had settled as far west as the Mississippi River. The reason the Americans didn't go further west beyond the Mississippi? The Europeans. From the beginning of European colonization, the land between the Mississippi River and the Rocky Mountains, known as the Louisiana Territory, was controlled by European nations. As of 1803, the French controlled the Louisiana Territory. However, French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte desired to sell the land to finance French military operations. Seizing the opportunity, President Thomas Jefferson moved forward to acquire the land. For a sum of $15 million, Jefferson purchased the Louisiana Territory, doubling the size of the United States. This acquisition of land became known as the Louisiana Purchase. Through this purchase, the United
It says acquisition of land. Acquisition means something added or gained.
States not only controlled the land stretching from the Mississippi River to the Rocky Mountains, but gained control of the port of New Orleans, allowing Americans to travel and trade more easily. Shortly after the Louisiana Purchase, President Jefferson hired Meriwether Lewis and William Clark to lead an expedition of the newly acquired territory. Following the American Revolution, the Spanish regained the Florida Territory from Great Britain. Over the next 40 years, Spanish Florida became a refuge for runaway slaves and Native Americans. The Spanish had little money to support the Florida government and had very few soldiers to enforce laws. The United States government had repeatedly tried to purchase Florida from Spain, but without success. In 1819, Spain gave in to the United States' request for Florida. Why? Well, firstly, future President Andrew Jackson led U.S. troops to effectively invade Florida, gaining control of the Florida Peninsula. Secondly, Spain was exhausted by a European war as well as revolutionary uprisings in its colonies located in Latin America. In 1819, representatives from both Spain and the U.S. negotiated and signed the Adams-Honest Treaty, giving Florida the United States and keeping Texas under the power of Spain. Despite the treaty, Spanish command of Texas was short-lived. In 1821, Mexico fought and won its independence from Spain, making Texas part of Mexico. The Mexican government invited and encouraged Americans to settle in the Texas territory, and eventually there were more Americans than Mexicans living in Texas. When General Santa Anna established himself as dictator of Mexico in 1835, the American settlers in Texas became uneasy and decided to fight a war for independence. Between 1835 and 1836, the Texans fought for independence, successfully breaking away from Mexico. In 1836, Texas became an independent nation. The Republic of Texas was led by President Sam Houston and remained an independent nation for 9 years. In 1845, Texas was officially added to the United States. With the acquisition of Texas, the United States now controls all of the territory east of the Rocky Mountains. The U.S. government now had its sights set on the Oregon Territory. The Oregon Territory consisted of present-day Idaho, Oregon, Washington, and parts of Montana and Wyoming. Until 1846, this territory had joint occupancy by the United States and Great Britain. In 1846, the U.S. negotiated a treaty with Britain to gain control of the Oregon Territory. The agreement, the British would maintain control of the land north of the 49th parallel, and the United States gain control of the future northwestern states. The United States now had access to the Pacific Ocean, and manifest destiny was almost a reality. There was one territory left for the United States to conquer, the Mexican Cession. The Mexican Cession included present-day states of Utah, Arizona, Nevada, and California. The United States government offered to purchase the territory from Mexico, but the Mexican government refused. Under President James Polk, the Americans provoked Mexico and eventually declared war. From 1846 through 1848, the United States and Mexico fought for ownership of the land. In the end, the Americans won the war and negotiated a treaty with Mexico to officially gain the southwestern territory. The United States now had complete authority of the Pacific coast. The dreams of manifest destiny were not completely realized until 1854. Following the invention of the steam locomotive, the United States began construction of the transcontinental railroad. Government engineers realized that building through the western mountain ranges would be very costly, and that building railroads slightly south of the mountains would make more sense. The issue? The land that was needed was in Mexico. In 1854, American Ambassador James Gadsden negotiated a deal with the Mexican government to purchase the southern part of present-day states New Mexico and Arizona. The cost of the land was $10 million, and the deal became known as the Gadsden Purchase. America's quest to expand the Pacific Ocean and the goal of manifest destiny were finally accomplished. We are at the conclusion of our lesson. Are you able to provide facts to answer the objectives of today's lesson? We hope that you have enjoyed learning about the physical expansion of the United States. Thank you for watching. Welcome to another JML Flips lesson.
Okay, so you hear her talking about manifest destiny, right?
Yeah.
Manifest destiny was a phrase coined in 1845, and it's the idea that the United States is destined by God, its advocates believe, to expand its dominion and spread democracy and capitalism across the entire North American continent. Dominion is rulership, right? And they wanted to spread democracy and capitalism. Do we have democracy?
Yes.
Do we have capitalism?
Yes.
Yes. So we've got both of those things going on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me turn this down since that buzzing was working. Okay. All right, so I made a slideshow for you guys. Let's see if Ms. Thompson can make it bigger. If not, we will look at it like this. And I think I can make it, oh, no. Okay, we're gonna look at it like this. So it's about westward expansion. Here's the standard of what we're learning today. It's USI 8.8a, territorial expansion. The student will demonstrate knowledge of westward expansion and reform in America from 1801 to 1861 by describing territorial expansion and how it affected the map of the United States, with emphasis on the Louisiana Purchase, the Lewis and Clark expedition, and the acquisitions of Florida, Texas, Oregon, and California. So we've got some vocabulary words we need to know for this lesson. We have expansion. Expansion means becoming larger. We have territory. That would be an area of land under a ruler or a state. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Dispute. Dispute is a disagreement or an argument. Treaty. A treaty is a formal agreement between two or more states. So they get together and they agree upon some things and they write it down and they make a treaty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Expedition. It's a journey or voyage taken by a group of people. You probably heard the word expedition before, right? Right? People go, yes, people go on like, you heard people go on an expedition to Antarctica, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna go explore. I don't know why they wanna go there, it's very cool. Republic. a group with equality between its members. All right, the Louisiana Purchase. Jefferson bought the land from France, which doubled the size of the United States. In the Lewis and Clark expedition, Meriwether Lewis and William Clark explored the Louisiana Purchase and the Oregon Territory from the Mississippi River to the Pacific Ocean. You know where the Mississippi River is, right?
Yes.
Kind of runs down the middle of the U.S.
Yes.
Here's a picture of the Louisiana Purchase. See how much land this added to the United States?
Yes.
It's an awful lot. Here's a picture of Meriwether Lewis and William Clark, the explorers who went on the expedition to check out the new land. All right, Florida. Everybody knows where Florida is, right?
Yes.
You've probably been to Florida?
Yes.
No? Some of you have?
Yeah.
Okay. Spain gave Florida to the United States through a treaty. So we talked about treaty, right? It's an agreement.
Yes.
So the Spanish were in control of Florida at the time, and they made a treaty with the United States. And they got all this land, which is pretty much what we have as Florida today, right?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of extra land over here that they got later. Here is a nice artist's rendering of the change of flags when the Spanish flag over Florida was going to come down and the United States flag was going to go up. Are these people fighting?
No.
No, they're getting along. They made an agreement, right?
Okay. Sticks.
Hmm?
That one kid have a wooden sword.
He does have a wooden sword. He's joining in the party, right?
Yeah.
All right, we've got Texas next. Texas was added to the United States after it became an independent republic. So Texas became an independent republic, then it became part of the United States. So what we have here, you can see, this is the outline of Texas as we know it today in the United States, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But look at all this other land in the brown. That used to be part of Texas when it was a republic. Now it's part of a bunch of other states in the United States, right?
Yeah.
And so they got more Texas than they thought they were getting. Here's some symbols of Texas. This was the symbol of Texas when it was still the Republic of Texas before it was the state of Texas, right?
Yeah.
Here we have a flag that has the U.S. and the Texas flags on it, and it's talking about how it became a state. Oregon.
It was 3 cents.
It was only 3 cents. How much does it cost to mail a letter today?
25. 50.
I think it's closer to 50 cents, yeah. It's not expensive. I don't hardly mail any letters anymore, and you probably don't either.
I said 6.
That's right. That's what we do, emails. Oregon. The Oregon Territory was divided by the United States and Great Britain. Here we have that word treaty again. So we made a treaty with Great Britain. And you see here, this is the modern day state of Oregon, and also the states of Washington, Idaho, and then part of Wyoming and part of Montana. But this used to all be called the Oregon Territory. You can see it's much larger than modern day Oregon, right? And here we have another stamp. This was when it was just the Oregon Territory before it was a state. This one doesn't have price on it, but I think it's a commemorative stamp. And then here was the seal of the territory of Oregon before it became a state when it was still a territory. It's pretty cool. All right, we also have California. War with Mexico resulted in California and the Southwest Territory becoming part of the United States. So we kind of took it by force, right? We didn't make a treaty for this one, right? Yeah, we had a war. It was called the Mexican-American War. The newly declared Californian Republic was soon taken over by the U.S. Army and claimed for the United States at the start of the Mexican-American War. Major cities in California like San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego were quickly captured from the Mexican Army. Are those real cities still in California today?
Yes.
You think they are?
Yeah.
Any of you ever been to any of them?
My dad has.
Your dad has?
My dad has.
Okay, cool. I have been to San Francisco. I have not been to Los Angeles or San Diego.
My dad used to live in Los Angeles.
Really? Oh, that's cool. Nice weather there. All right, here is the land that Mexico lost to the United States, and eventually this part over here became California. This is a whole lot of land, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Took over a whole bunch of it. All right, we have some questions here. So, raise your hand if you know the answer. From what country did the United States get the Louisiana Purchase? Max?
Mexico.
No? Help them out, Marcelo.
Spain.
Not Louisiana Purchase.
France.
Yes?
France.
France, that's right. We got the Louisiana Purchase from France, from Napoleon Bonaparte, right?
Uh-huh.
That guy we saw a picture of. Next question is, raise your hand, who went on an expedition?
Oh.
Yes,
Lewis and Clark.
Lewis and Clark, right. They went on an expedition to explore our newly acquired land, right?
Yes.
With what country did the United States make a treaty to get Florida? Treaty. Yes?
Is that Spain?
It was Spain. Very good. You guys have a great memory. All right. Which territory was an independent republic? How about Marley, Kimani, either one of you know? Which state was actually an independent republic? Marcella?
Was it Oregon? Texas.
It was Texas, right. Oregon would have been a good guess too. Which territory was divided by the United States and Britain? Kimani? No, can you help him out, Max?
Was it Texas?
Wasn't Texas. Texas was the territory that was an independent republic. This was another territory we got, was divided between the US and Britain. Give up, guys?
Oh no.
Yes,
Oregon?
Oregon, that's right. We saw that big land, what's Oregon, that was divided between the United States and Britain. Britain got to rule over the top part, the northern part, and the US got the rest of it. All right, there was a dispute between the United States and Mexico over the land that would become California. What was that dispute called? Remember our vocabulary word dispute? What does that mean? Yes,
An argument?
an argument, a disagreement, that's right. So, what was this dispute called?
The Mexican and American War.
The Mexican-American War, that's right, very good. All right, true or false? Westward expansion caused the United States to grow larger. Raise your hand.
True.
True?
True.
Does everybody agree? Imani, Marlene?
Yes.
Larger. Expansion means larger, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, does anybody have any questions about any of that?
No.
You have a question, Max?
Just when the United States and Mexico were having a dispute, or like when they were having a conversation about buying the land, did that cost a lot of money, right?
Yes, they had a war, and wars are very expensive. They cost a lot of money. But it didn't cost a lot of money to get the land because they didn't buy it. They just sort of took it over.
Who took it over?
Yeah, some of the other land was purchased,
Um,
and that cost money. Let's see if you can find some.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you think if Spain didn't get Florida, do you think the United States would have overpowered them?
You think the United States would have what?
Like overpowering Spain because to that Spain didn't have a lot of troops to go
Right.
Florida.
I think probably so. U.S. really wanted Florida, but we did give them a chance to sell it to us,
Which they did.
which they did, and they wanted to use the money to, make their military better, because they really didn't have a lot of power to run the government. They were having some problems with that, They had a weak government and they didn't have very much in the way of an army. But yes, I feel like probably if they hadn't agreed to sell, it's likely that the United States would have taken it by force. That's a good question. That's a good question. So the Louisiana Purchase, see, purchase means to buy, right?
Yeah.
That was bought from France. I think that was bought for $15 million. I don't know how much that would be today, but it would be an awful lot, because that was an awful lot of money back then. Anybody else have a question?
No.
How do y'all feel about Westward Expansion? Pretty good?
Yes.
Okay. Well, now we are going to play a game.
Okay.
We're going to play a game to test our knowledge. How's that sound?
Good.
We'll have prizes at the end. Everybody all right? Okay. All right, let's set up our game. This might take a minute. Ooh. We're gonna play Westward Expansion Bingo. Kimani, can I get you to pass those down?
It's gonna be easy. Mommy.
Well, I don't know. It might be harder than you think.
Yeah.
We'll find out. Are you doing okay there? Uh-oh. Joking glasses. Have it all back. Can you pass one down to him?
Oh.
You mind?
I already know the first answer. Who's your favorite teacher that is Miss Thompson? I like that. Second answer. Yeah.
Okay. This might be hard. It might be easy. I guess we'll see, right? Pass one down to him.
You have cool clips.
Thank you. Those were a gift from a student. You know Alyssa? She gave those to me for.
Teacher appreciation.
No, she gave them to me a while back. I want to say it was for my birthday. I just had my birthday not that long ago. Well, it's been 2 months ago now. Time goes fast, right? All right, last one. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'll go ahead and tell you, everybody's gonna have bingo, okay? This is a little bit of a different kind of bingo. But you have to fill up the whole board, okay? Not just make a line. Oh, wait. My bad. Mommy? I have those. Is this the one you do? This is fine. Okay, you can keep that then, because I gave those to you guys a little early. All right, so here we go. Get ready. Get all your little papers. So, first we're gonna do the middle one on the top. Don't answer out loud, just put your paper on your square. From what country did the United States get the Louisiana Purchase? From what country did the United States get the Louisiana Purchase? Okay. Next, we're gonna do the middle square in the last row. Who is your favorite teacher?
That was a hard one.
Is that a hard one?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, let's do the very last square. With what country did the United States make a treaty to get Florida? Treaty to get Florida. The very last square. The United States make a treaty with who to get Florida? What country? You have a country there?
Yes.
You have a country, Marley? Oh, it's right here. Okay. The first row on the bottom. Which territory was divided by the United States and Britain? Which territory was divided by the United States and Britain? It's the very last one in this square down here. All right, middle row, first row, middle square, right here. Which territory was an independent republic? Middle square, first row. Okay, ready? Very first square. Who went on an expedition? Okay. Top right square. There was a dispute between the United States and Mexico over the land that would become California. What was it called? The dispute. Okay, middle square. Did westward expansion cause the United States to grow larger or smaller? All right, last square is the bottom middle. What is the topic of this lesson? Okay. All righty, let's go over them now. First question, who went on an expedition? Yes?
Lewis and Clark.
Lewis and Clark. I'm just gonna read them across this way, and this way, okay? So Lewis and Clark should be your very first one. From what country did the United States get the Louisiana Purchase? Yes?
France.
France, that's right, very good. That was your top middle square. Now we've got, there was a dispute between the United States and Mexico over the land that would become California. What was that dispute called, Mikhail? The Mexican-American War, that's right, very good. All right, next question. Which territory was an independent republic? Marley?
Texas.
Texas, good job. All right, middle square. Did westward expansion cause the United States to grow larger or smaller, Kimani? Larger, that's right, very good. Next question. Who is your favorite teacher?
Miss Thompson.
Oh, thank you guys, I appreciate that. Of course, I didn't give you any other teachers to choose from, did I? Okay. Next question is, which territory was divided by the United States and Britain? Marley? Oregon, that's right. Good job. Yes, everybody has bingo. Everybody say bingo.
Bingo.
Everybody's got bingo. All right, middle square. What is the topic of this lesson? Max?
Westward Expansion.
Westward expansion, that's right. And the last question, with what country did the United States make a treaty to get Florida? Yes?
Spain.
Spain, that's right. We made a treaty with Spain to get Florida. All right, good job, guys. Did you learn a lot about westward expansion?
Yes.
You learned about Lewis and Clark, too?
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all feel good about this?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna collect all of your bingo boards. And that's gonna be the end of our lesson for today. Anybody have any questions?
No.
No? Okay, good. Glad you feel good about it. Oh, wait a second. I have something else.
Yes.
I have prizes. I have little rubber bracelets, so I'm gonna pass those out, okay? Yeah, just leave those there and I can get them. So here we go. And there's one for you too, Mikhail.
Oh, with the red one.
You want the red one?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Okay, thanks guys. I'll be right back.
It's really good. Can I get one? This is a really cool bracelet. I know.